Morning, everybody. I thought I would pop on my YouTube today to talk about snacking and how you can actually take back control. A lot of ladies that I talk to, when they want to lose weight and they feel like they need to go on a diet, they want to drop some body fat, they basically cut out everything that they deem quote unquote bad. They cut out things like crisps, chocolate, biscuits, sweets, all those kinds of things, foods that maybe you would kind of normally snack on. And so because you have kind of like put those foods in a box, and you've kind of labeled that box with can't have, can't touch, can't have any of them, what happens is you're very good at sticking to your diet, sticking to your plan, your meal plan, whatever it is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it gets to Friday and you're probably lacking in energy, lacking in mood, and really fancying those foods that you've told yourself that you are not allowed. And so what happens is you kind of like, just to paint the picture for you, maybe you're watching a film in the evening with family or something like that, and you think like, oh, okay, I'll just have a few. I'll just have a few sweets. So maybe you kind of like put a few sweets in a bowl for yourself. You go into the living room and watch it with family, and you're already thinking about the rest of the bag that's in the cupboard that you shouldn't be having, but you know you probably will end up having. So what happens is you kind of like go to the kitchen, grab a few more, and before you know it, you've like literally eaten the whole family size bag. Then what happens is you feel shame, you feel guilty, you feel frustrated, you get really, really annoyed with yourself because you haven't just had the small portion, you've had the whole bag. And then that literally sends you into that restrict binge cycle. And it just happens over and over and over again. So you're like really, 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 really good, have nothing kind of snacky, nothing what we would deem less nutritious or unhealthy. Gets to the weekend, you miss those foods, you feel hungry, your mood is low, your energy is low, and you have all of those kind of foods that you have missed. So the problem here is that you are being too strict with yourself. The fact that you've got this box and that you're not allowing yourself any of that food, that is exactly the reason why you are struggling to lose weight. And it's exactly the reason why you can't stay on track and you can't lose the weight long term. So I would like to introduce you to the 80-20 rule. Now, you may have heard of influencers, online coaches talk about this before. So the 80-20 rule is essentially where you have 80% of your foods over the day, over the week. 80% of your foods are whole foods. They are nutrient dense, they're nutritious, and they're going to make you feel really good on the inside. And then that 20% needs to be those less nutritious foods, probably more calorie dense foods that I call soul foods, that are good for the soul. So for example, whether that's your chocolate or a bag of crisps or something like that, it is obviously important that you are prioritizing those whole foods. And I'm going to be talking about macronutrients and breaking down what macros are and then why protein's so important and all that kind of thing. But in today's video, I just want to make it really clear that you need to be having those snack foods in your day, like literally every single day if you want to. So for myself, I'm obviously an online nutrition and mindset coach. So that's why I want to talk about your relationship with food and the fact that that is actually stalling your progress. But I'm in a fat loss phase at the moment, and I have a little bit of chocolate every single day and I'm still losing fat. And that's because I have put these foods into my plan. I don't have any foods that I have banned, any foods that are off limits, anything like that. And so I've taken that label away. I've taken that good food, bad food label away. And what I do instead is, yes, I prioritize nutrient dense foods, but I have that little bit of chocolate in my plan every single day. So it's not off limits. It's literally planned into my day, and I know that I'm going to have that. I know it's going to make me happy, and I know that I can still lose fat whilst having it. And that's why you need to be in a calorie deficit. I would recommend that you track your calories, so you know exactly what you're actually consuming, because a lot of ladies that I talk to are actually having a lot more food than they actually realize, because they're just being healthy with their choices, but some healthy foods are more calorific than others without you realizing. And so you need to be in a calorie deficit. So by tracking your food, by implementing this 80-20 rule, and by having these foods, but also having a bit of chocolate, bit of, I don't know, Biscoff, crisps, whatever it is, and planning that into your day, that is what is going to help you sustain the fat loss long term. Because what happens is, ladies, you know, even if they can stick to that kind of like really strict diet long term, what happens is they get to the end of the diet, they've reached the goal, they've thus lost the weight, and it's like, woo, okay, amazing. And they just get back to what they were eating before. And by doing that, I mean, obviously they've probably missed a lot of foods that they weren't letting themselves have, weren't allowing themselves to have. And the weight creeps back on. You've missed your, I don't know, your fish and chips or your chocolate or this, that and the other. And you literally get to the end of the diet and you just kind of like crave all those foods, have those foods again. So yes, you've lost the weight, but you've not done it in a sustainable way. So it's not going to be achievable to sustain those results long term. So by doing this, adding these snacks into your day, trust me, it is actually going to help you lose weight long term, and maybe even faster, because rather than being in this really strict regime Monday to Thursday and then going off the rails and having all these snacks and things that you've missed over the weekend, you're literally, that cycle, it's just going to keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Whereas if you stick to your calorie deficit Monday to Sunday, like literally over the week, because the weekend counts as well, if you stick to your calorie deficit, have a little bit of chocolate or sweets or whatever your snack is that you really like every single day, I promise that is what is going to benefit you. This is the kind of thing that I teach in my coaching. I am so passionate about helping ladies create a calm, confident, and just a really happy relationship with food. And that's why it's important to say two things. I mean, one, if you want to have a chat with me about making this your reality and actually having my encouragement, my support, my guidance, then please just send me a message. But the second thing is, from a mindset perspective, when you actually have that food, it's not actually the food that you crave, it's the feeling or emotion that's actually attached to that food. So for example, if you're telling yourself, I can't have that, oh, fuck it, and then I'll start again on Monday, you're then kind of like attaching some meaning to that food rather than just having it in your day. So honestly, just start implementing this. Just have a little bit of something every single day and build it up from there. And I'm not obviously saying like have loads of chocolate, because if you're not in a calorie deficit, like that will defeat the point and you won't be able to lose the weight. However, if you have a little bit of that food every single day, I honestly promise that is what's going to help you. So thank you so much for listening to my little talk about snacking and what you need to do to ensure that you can lose weight sustainably long term. And I will see you on the next one.